What if your breakthrough isn't delayed? It's simply waiting for your consistency, not your striving, not your stress, not another emotional outburst or another frantic prayer, but quiet consistency, sacred repetition, daily alignment. You see, there is a divine clock ticking, not on the walls of your room, but behind the veil of what you cannot see. It does not tick to the rhythm of human panic. It does not move when your emotions spike or fade. This clock is eternal, golden, perfect in its rhythm, and it responds to one thing: alignment with divine rhythm. Many believe they've been ignored by God. They say, I tried, I spoke, I prayed, nothing moved. But they forget the law that Florence Scovel Shinn so gently whispered into the world. Faith without works is dead, but works without faith are also lifeless. Faith is not a one-time declaration. It is a rhythmic devotion, a spiritual beat you must learn to walk in even when nothing seems to shift. Imagine a sacred gate sealed shut. You push once, it doesn't open. You shout, weep, knock again, still closed, so you walk away believing it wasn't meant for you. But the gate didn't need more emotion. It needed more rhythm. It needed the steady knock of belief that doesn't retreat. God doesn't ignore. God aligns. And when your actions match the tempo of trust, the gate opens not by force, but by divine timing. Some of you are wondering, how much longer must I repeat the same prayer, the same affirmation, the same step? But consistency is not delay. It is confirmation. Heaven's way of saying, hold the line. You are closer than you think. Consistency is the sacred proof that you're not just performing, you're becoming. Every repeated act of obedience etches truth deeper into your subconscious. Every quiet step forward reshapes your identity from forgotten wanderer to trusted vessel. There is a divine orchestra rehearsing on your behalf. Each act of faith, each word of life you speak, adds another note to the arrangement. You may not hear the music yet, but the symphony is forming. Let me speak to the weariness in you. The part of you that wonders if anything you've done has counted. It has. Even what you forgot, heaven recorded. Even what you thought was wasted, God wove into the score. No faithful step is ever lost in the divine dot. So today, I offer you a new rhythm, not of force, but of trust, a firmness. I show up in faith even when I feel forgotten. I move with divine rhythm. My steps are synchronized with spiritual law. Close your eyes. See a golden clock behind the veil. Each second a promise, each tick a reminder that your timing is not off, it is being made perfect. Feel yourself stepping into flow, not sprinting, not collapsing, just steady, just faithful. Florence taught that words are like seeds. They do not bloom the moment they're planted, but with each spoken truth, each day of unwavering action, you water the invisible, and eventually, what was buried begins to rise. This is your invitation back to rhythm, back to the tempo of trust. Stop chasing sudden moves, start becoming the steady one. The one who does not flinch at silence, the one who knocks, not once, but until the door opens by law. This is the hidden law behind breakthroughs, the one not found in desperation, but in devotion. God is not ignoring you. God is watching your rhythm, and when your inner clock harmonizes with the divine, what felt stuck, what felt silent, what felt need will move. There is a pattern written in silence, a cycle that repeats not because you're weak, but because you're unaware. It starts with hope, a new intention, a sacred desire. You feel it in your bones. This time will be different, but then comes the resistance. Not always loud, sometimes soft, a whisper of doubt, a delay, an unexpected silence from the universe. Your heart begins to question what your spirit once declared. You move from enthusiasm to discouragement, from fire to fog, from this is my time to maybe it's not meant for me. And just before the door opens, you stop, you turn around. This is the edge where many souls retreat. Right before the shift, right before the breakthrough, right before the seed splits open in the soil. Not because you lack potential, but because you never learned the law of rhythm. Florence taught that every spiritual promise follows a divine cycle. Sowing, waiting, reaping, but most of us only celebrate the sowing and the harvest. We forget the holy tension of the in-between, the sacred pause where nothing appears to happen, but everything is being arranged. You are not failing when the silence arrives. You are entering the most delicate part of the process, the womb of transformation. Like the caterpillar in its cocoon, the pressure builds, the structure collapses, the form dissolves, and in that dark, still chamber, wings are forming. But if you cut the cocoon too early, if you pull back from the pressure, the butterfly never flies. And so I ask you gently, where do you stop right before the shift? Is it when the answers don't arrive fast enough? Is it when the old voice in your mind says, see, nothing's changing? Is it when you feel unseen, unheard, unworthy again? That is not the end. That is the cocoon, the gate between the old version of you and the next, and it always feels the tightest just before the release. Quitting, in truth, is not failure. It is amnesia. It is forgetting your divine contract, the one your soul agreed to long before time touched your body. You were never promised ease. You were promised alignment. And alignment requires remembrance, especially when the outer world goes quiet. Let this be the moment you choose again. Choose to stay. Choose to trust. Choose to let pressure polish your faith instead of piercing it. Speak to your inner self with truth. I remember who I am when it matters most. I was called for this. I was built for this moment. Let this become your internal command, not a plea, a knowing, because on the other side of this sacred silence is movement. On the other side of resistance is release. And quitting is not the closing of a door. It is simply turning your back on one that was about to open. Visualize this. A divine hand reaching toward you just beyond the veil. Your next step was inches away, and your faith was the bridge. The law of rhythm says this. Pressure is not punishment. It is a passage. One all souls must walk to arrive in their promise. So today, stay 1 second longer. Hold one more thread of belief. Speak one more life-giving word. Not because you're forcing an outcome, but because you refuse to forget who you truly are. You are the one who keeps walking through the fog. You are the one who learns to breathe in the cocoon. You are the one who remembers when others forget. Say it again. I remember who I am when it matters most. And let that remembering become the fire that carries you through this final stretch. Not with force, but with trust. Because the door is closer than it appears. And heaven never forgets those who walk by rhythm, not reaction. There is a rhythm beneath all creation. A pulse that does not rush. A harmony that never hurries. It moves with quiet precision. Not in bursts, not in chaos, but in consistency. But sun rises without question. The tide returns without fear. The earth spins silently in obedience to divine law. This is not effort. This is alignment. Consistency is not a punishment or a burden. It is a sacred frequency, a vibration that tunes your soul to the music of divine flow. Most people chase results. They force, they strive, they start and stop depending on how things look. But true spiritual power is not found in chaos. It is found in rhythm, in devotion, in showing up again and again, not out of desperation, but out of harmony with something higher. Florence Scovel Shinn spoke of the law of non-resistance. When you keep flowing, you remain open. When you stop and tighten in doubt, you clog the channel. Energy, like water, moves best through what is soft, surrendered, and in motion. To be consistent is to stay in motion, not for the sake of productivity, but to remain a vessel, a tuning fork, vibrating with divine tone. Imagine that for a moment. A tuning fork, still and lifeless at first, but then it struck, and suddenly, a sound, a resonance. That note fills the room not by trying harder, but by remaining in vibration. You are that fork, and the divine is always striking, calling, tuning you, not to perform, but to become an instrument through which grace can move. Consistency is not discipline. It is devotion. Devotion to who you are becoming. Devotion to the laws that govern transformation. Devotion to the unseen garden that is still growing beneath the surface. Ask yourself now, gently, with reverence, where in my life am I called to sacred consistency? Not obligation, not shame, but soul-alignment. Maybe it's showing up to your vision, even when no one applauds. Maybe it's speaking truth to yourself in the mirror, until your inner critic grows silent. Maybe it's praying when you don't feel like it. Meditating when your mind wanders. Writing your vision even when your hands tremble with doubt. These are not small acts. These are sacred agreements. Each moment of devotion sends a signal to the universe. I am in alignment. I am in motion. I am ready. Consistency is not about how much you do. It is about the energy with which you do it, the purity of your presence, the clarity of your yes. The This is what spiritual maturity looks like, when your action is not reactive, but reverent, when your movement is not frantic, but faithful. And yes, there will be days you feel empty, days when your energy wavers, but devotion says, even here, I will stand in agreement with divine order. Say this with me now, with authority. My devotion tunes me to divine order. Let that truth settle into your body. Let it vibrate through the chambers of your mind. Let it cleanse the places in you where hustle once lived. Consistency is not perfection. It is returning. Returning to your practice. Returning to your power. Returning to the path even after you've wandered. You don't need to be loud to be effective. You need to be aligned. Aligned with your highest self, aligned with the sacred pattern of creation. There is no need to rush, no need to force. Just step, breathe, repeat. One moment of sacred action is stronger than 1,000 acts born from fear. Your consistency is the soil. Your intention is the seed. Your faith is the sun. And in time, something divine will rise from it. Something only heaven could have planned. So ask yourself again, where in my life am I being invited into deeper consistency? Write it, feel it, claim it. Because when you live in rhythm with divine law, life begins to echo your devotion. The universe mirrors your movement, and your life, once scattered, begins to sing, like a divine orchestra, tuning to its highest note, not rushed, not delayed, but exactly on time. There are moments on the path when it feels like heaven has fallen silent. You've prayed, you've declared, you've shown up in devotion, and still, nothing moves. You listen for signs, but the wind is still. You look for change, but the ground doesn't stir. You ask, God, have you forgotten me? But the sky gives no answer. This is not punishment, it is preparation. Because before every divine demonstration, there comes a test. A test of rhythm, a test of faith when the music stops. She was a woman of devotion. Every morning, she rose before the world did, lit a candle, spoke life into the void, laid her intentions like offerings at the altar, day after day, week after week, and still, no reply. Her money dried up, her relationships strained, her spirit wavered. So one day, she stopped, she folded up her prayers, blew out the candle, and turned her back to the invisible. That very week, everything unraveled, opportunities vanished, peace disappeared, even the little she had was shaken loose. Confused and hollow, she crawled back to her place of prayer. Not out of desperation, but out of sacred surrender. And something strange happened. A message came. A door opened, the stillness broke. The rhythm had never left, but it was waiting for her devotion to be unwavering, unconditional. Heaven is not impressed by performance. It is moved by presence, by faith that does not flinch when the world turns cold. Florence Scovel Shinn said, the invisible forces are always working in your favor when you do not doubt. But what if the doubt doesn't come loud? What if it comes quiet, as stopping, as turning away too soon? Heaven mirrors you. Not your words, but your energy. It does not respond to begging. It responds to belief. Imagine a sacred mirror. It does not reflect your face when you glance and look away. It only answers when you hold your gaze. When you stare into the silence without fear. Without rush. That is when the reflection comes. Consistency, you see, is the language of trust. To stay in rhythm when the music disappears. To keep dancing when the room feels empty. To declare the good when nothing looks good. That is mastery. And that is the test. The law of divine timing is not random. It watches your rhythm. It listens for your steady frequency. Not your bursts of hope, but your endurance of faith. Say this now. From the center of your being, I hold the gaze of God, even when the world looks away. Let those words sink in. Let them echo through every place that feels unseen, unheld, or unloved. Because this is the hidden passage, the part most souls never cross. They stop just before the breakthrough. They question just before the door opens. But the divine watches for who will keep the flame alive when no one is clapping. When there is no proof. Heaven does not test you to punish you. It tests you to reveal you. To polish your faith until it shines like gold. So now, when you feel that silence, when the days blur, and the results don't come, don't stop. Don't shift your gaze. Close your eyes, and visualize the mirror. See yourself holding steady. See the light beginning to return, not because you forced it, but because you endured. Repeat this daily, in moments of stillness. Even in silence, I am seen. Even in delay, I am delivered. This is not blind hope. This is spiritual maturity. To keep watering the seed before the sprout breaks through. To trust the roots even when the soil looks bare. That is when the rhythm returns. Not rushed, not loud, but certain. Your job is not to chase results. Your job is to hold the frequency. To keep the devotion burning. To become a living prayer. And when you do, you will feel it. A shift, a whisper. The divine, moving again. Not because it started, but because you never stopped. The day does not begin with the rising of the sun. It begins with the rising of your word. Before your feet touch the ground, before the noise of the world seeps in, your spirit is standing at the gate of creation, and what you speak in that sacred moment shapes what will meet you in the hours ahead. This is not routine. It is ritual. It is law. Florence Scovel Shinn called it the law of substitution. Whatever thought dominates your mind becomes the blueprint of your experience. But you were never meant to be a victim of thought. You are the architect, the author, the commander of your day. If you do not command it, it will command you. If you do not speak to your morning, the noise of the world will write its own script for your soul. So you must begin with power, with clarity, with a divine decree, before the phone, before the news, before the questions. You pause, you breathe, and you say, this day is divine. I am equipped. I walk in favor. Let those words rise like incense into the unseen. Let them go before you like light clearing the shadows, because each day is a canvas and the brush is in your hand. But if you approach it in fear, it will reflect that back. If you walk into it undecided, it will remain uncertain. But if you command it in truth, it will align. This is spiritual order, not superstition, not repetition, but revelation. When the morning is mastered, the rest must follow. The law of substitution teaches this. You cannot hold two thoughts at once. So when fear knocks you, answer with faith. When doubt creeps in, you replace it with truth. It is not enough to say, I hope it works. You must declare, I am the one it works for. That shift, that reframe, opens the gates. You become the vibration that attracts the answer. You become the vessel that calls the provision. You become the proof of the law, in motion. Do not let the world decide for you what today will hold you. Decide. You are not waiting. You are aligning. You are not hoping. You are declaring. Say it aloud now. Let it echo in your bones. I am not waiting. I am aligning. This is your covenant with the morning, not a weak whisper, but a spiritual stance. Visualize the sun rising over calm waters, its light forming words across the sky, not random, not chaotic, but chosen, spoken, placed by you. You rise in alignment, you rise in power, you rise not because the world is perfect, but because your word is. Now listen, this is where many fall. They begin strong but lose rhythm. They speak truth for a moment but let old patterns return by noon. You must become consistent in your command, like the beating of a sacred drum. You hold your tone, you keep your frequency, no matter what moves around you. That is where breakthrough lives, not in the moment of motivation but in the quiet choosing, again and again. Florence said, by your word you are justified, by your word you are condemned. So watch your word, guard it like a treasure, use it like a sword. Reframe the inner chatter. When the mind says nothing's changing, you say something is shifting beneath the surface. When it whispers, what if it fails? You answer, God doesn't fail through me. This is how you take your seat on the throne of creation. This is how you become a vessel of divine law. By refusing to bow to chaos, by choosing order within. Let this prayer settle in your spirit as the sun climbs higher. This is a day the Lord has authored for my rising. I walk in rhythm with divine timing. My thoughts are aligned. My words are clear. My energy is sacred. I do not chase. I attract through truth. I do not beg. I command through love. And now with this declaration woven into your being, you rise, not by force but by frequency. The day is not in control. You are. There is a silence waiting in the middle of every day. A sacred space tucked between tasks and timelines, not to be earned but to be entered, not to fix but to remember that. This is the sacred pause, where your soul catches its breath and your spirit returns home. Because even when you begin your morning with clarity, life will still pull, people will still ask, your mind may wander, your energy may stretch too far from center. And if you are not aware, you'll begin to live on borrowed alignment, reacting, running, forgetting. But the soul has a compass, and it always points back to truth. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that your word is your wand. But if you forget the hand that holds it, you'll wave it without power. That is why the midday moment is holy. It is not an interruption, it is an invitation. Right Now imagine a compass glowing at the center of your chest. Its needle has drifted, but you are still in control. You close your eyes, you breathe, and slowly the needle returns to true north. This is the art of realignment. Not effort, but awareness. You do not need an hour. You need 3 sacred minutes. Here is your midday ritual, simple but powerful. Minute 1. Breathe. Breathe as if the world pauses with you. Inhale gently, hold, release, slowly, do it again and again. Let every breath say, I am safe. I am present. Minute 2. Speak truth. Not what fear says, not what the clock screams, but what your spirit knows. Say aloud or within, I return to the rhythm of God. I am not behind. I am exactly where I need to be. My energy is sovereign. My peace is sacred. Minute 3. Reconnect. Place your hand over your heart. Feel the stillness beneath the motion. Visualize golden threads connecting you back to source, back to wisdom, back to calm. Let this be your reset, your soul's gentle exhale, so that the second half of your day is not powered by pressure but by presence. This is where so many lose power, not in the beginning but in the middle. When they forget who they are and why they started, the leak begins subtly, a rushed response. A mind spinning in 10 directions, an invisible weight behind the eyes. You feel it, the drift, the depletion, the disconnect, but you are not powerless here. You are not a slave to momentum. You are the keeper of your energy, the guardian of your peace. So plant a sacred reminder in your day, a simple calendar alert that whispers, return to truth. Let it ring at noon, let it echo at whatever time you need to come back home. Not to do more, but to be more. You are not behind. You are becoming. You are not late. You are aligned. Let this moment become a temple, a holy space between appointments where the divine meets you not in performance, but in presence. Say to yourself, everything I need is within. Every answer is unfolding. Every step is guided. The law of non-resistance lives here. It reminds you, you do not push the river, you flow with it. You do not chase peace. You return to it. Let this prayer guide your next breath. Spirit of truth, center me now. Let the noise fall behind. Let clarity rise within. May I see with holy eyes. May I walk with gentle power. May I finish this day with grace. And when you open your eyes, the world has not changed, but you have. You have remembered that alignment is not something you visit. It is something you return to again and again. You are not weak for needing the pause. You are wise, you are anchored, you are awake. Let your presence now be your command. Let your peace go before you. The day has spoken, its notes have played, some harmonious, some dissonant. But now, as the sky dims and the world exhales, it is your turn to respond. Not with more doing, but with a sacred closing. There is a holy art to how you end your day. Not by collapsing into distraction, but by sealing your energy like a scroll wrapped in gold, pressed gently with wax, marked with the seal of your spirit. Because what you do with the end decides how the next beginning arrives. Florence Scovel Shinn taught, nothing is lost in divine mind. And so, nothing you did today, no effort, no prayer, no intention, was in vain. Even what seemed incomplete or unclear, has found its place in the invisible folding into the great design. Moved by the divine mind that sees the whole while you walk step by step, you are not meant to carry the weight of the day into your rest. You are meant to release it, bless it, and return to peace. This is your night ritual, a sacred closing of your inner temple where the doors do not slam. They drift shut like petals in moonlight. Begin here. Sit or lie down. Let your body grow soft. Let the rhythm of breath become your only task. Then say to yourself, this day is complete. What I planted today grows in unseen soil tonight. I release all judgment. I forgive all tension. I welcome restoration. Feel every word move through your body, not as a chant, but as truth spoken from your soul to your cells. You are not the sum of what went wrong. You are the steward of your intention. And intention, when aligned with the divine, always bears fruit. Even if you cannot see the sprout yet, now visualize this. In front of you is a scroll. It holds every moment of this day. Every word you spoke, every emotion you held, every choice you made. You roll it gently, not with regret but with reverence. Even the stumbles taught something. Even the silence meant something. And when it is rolled, you melt the wax and press your seal. The seal of authority, the seal of surrender, the seal of grace. This is the law of non-resistance in its highest form. You do not wrestle with what already happened. You do not relive what cannot be changed. You accept it into the hands of the infinite and you rest. This is sacred closure. not as avoidance but as spiritual mastery. Your subconscious is listening, especially as you fall asleep. So, speak to it with care. Before your final breath of waking, affirm softly, "My spirit is aligned. My day is sealed with grace. Tomorrow holds miracles I do not yet see. I trust the rhythm of God." Now take out your journal and write this one question at the top of the page. What did I faithfully sow today, no matter how small? Let your heart answer, not your mind. Did you speak one kind word? Did you show up when you felt tired? Did you hold back when anger tried to speak for you? Write it down. Honor the seed. Every act aligned with love is a seed. And every seed, when blessed with belief, will bloom. This is how the spiritually consistent walk. Not by force, but by rhythm. Not by perfection, but by presence. They begin their day with intention, and they close it with reverence. You are not racing against the clock, you are dancing with divine timing. Tonight, let that dance slow, let it soften, let it carry you into rest, knowing that the work you cannot see is still being done. The divine mind forgets nothing, and so you can release everything. Seal the day, bless the night, and let tomorrow rise like dawn, clear, unburdened, and full of divine momentum. Delay is the grand illusion. It whispers that nothing is working, that you have missed your turn, that your time has passed. But delay is not truth. It is the fog that hides divine activity. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that manifestation begins in the invisible. Before the outer world catches up, the inner world must align. And alignment is not always visible to the eyes, but it is always real to the spirit. When a seed is planted, there is no visible proof that it lives. It sits in silence, surrounded by soil, covered in darkness, and yet it is alive, pulsing with purpose, rooting before rising. You may feel like that seed, buried beneath expectation, unseen by the world, pressed by time, but make no mistake, you are not forgotten. You are being formed. Delay is not denial. Delay is preparation. It is divine timing, rearranging circumstances, unknotting karmic threads, clearing unseen resistance, so when your harvest arrives, it will not be delayed again. When you do not see results, your mind may panic, but your soul knows better. Say it aloud with me, not as a wish, but as a sacred declaration. I am not behind, I am right on time. Feel how that truth dissolves the fear. Let it echo through your being until it becomes louder than the doubt. Divine timing is not random. It is law. It is spiritual mathematics. Every thought, every intention, every surrender calculated with precision for your highest unfolding. And just because it is not showing does not mean it is not moving. There is invisible motion behind every still moment, like roots growing in silence, like stars shifting behind clouds, like prayers being answered in dimensions you cannot yet reach. The law of substitution invites you to replace every thought of delay with faith in unseen movement. Instead of "why is nothing happening?" speak, "though I see nothing, God is moving." Instead of "I am running out of time," speak, "I am in harmony with divine order." You do not wait as a beggar, you wait as a co-creator, anchored in trust, not tension. And yes, there will be moments when the ego trembles. It will cry out for control, it will question the silence, but the silence is sacred. The universe does not rush, it orchestrates. Picture your life as a divine orchestra. You are not the conductor, you are the instrument. Your job is not to rush the melody, but to stay tuned so that when your part plays, you are ready. If you try to force what is still ripening, you may pluck a fruit that is not yet sweet. You may enter a room before the door is fully open and then wonder why it feels wrong. The whisper of release comes when you stop demanding proof and begin walking in trust. Close your eyes, visualize the seeds you have planted. See them underground, dark still but not dead. See the roots stretching quietly, the soil shifting gently, the light preparing its entrance. This is where your breakthrough lives. You are not off track. You are not late. You are not behind. You are moving in rhythm with a divine clock that does not tick with anxiety, it ticks with alignment. So tonight, and every time fear tells you you're too far gone, speak this into the air like a command from heaven itself. I am not behind. I am right on time. This is the reframe that sets you free. This is the inner shift that changes everything. Because when you stop believing in delay, you start walking like it's already done. And that is when the unseen becomes seen. Now breathe deep, let this truth settle in you. Let it correct the stories fear wrote in your mind. You are not waiting in lack, you are gestating in power. God is never late. God is never absent. And what is for you cannot miss you. Let that be your rhythm as we move into the next sacred revelation, where we explore the true meaning of divine worth and why. Receiving begins with knowing you are already enough. You are not becoming something foreign. You are returning to what you already are. Consistency is not just about discipline, it is about identity. Every act of alignment, every sacred repetition, every quiet choice to keep going is not about results. It is about remembrance. You are remembering your divine self, the one who finishes, the one who holds the line when the world feels unstable, the one who stands tall not because of applause but because of truth. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "You must act as if you had already received." But that action does not begin with motion, it begins with identity. You do not become through striving, you reveal through believing. There is a version of you, already whole, already complete, already victorious. You are not building that person, you are peeling away everything that is not them. Visualize this, a golden mask on your face shining, but false, heavy with expectation, fear, and performance. You've worn it so long you forgot there was anything underneath, but now it begins to dissolve. Not because you fought it, but because truth rose. Beneath it, your real face, uncovered, unapologetic, free. This is what happens when you stop asking, "Can I become it?" and start declaring, "I already am." Say this aloud, not as hope, but as identity. I am the one who finishes. I am the one who holds the line. Let it rise from your belly, not your lips. Let it shake off the dust of doubt. Let it echo in every room where you once gave up. This is your spiritual inheritance, to walk like it's done, to persist like it's promised, to act like your identity is already established, and know you will not always feel it. But faith does not wait for feelings. Faith declares truth and allows the feelings to catch up. Here is your practice. Each morning before the world demands who you should be, stand in front of the mirror. Look into your own eyes and speak to the self you are unveiling. I am the one who finishes. I am the one who holds the line. Let this be your soul's compass. Let it carve new grooves in your subconscious. Let it override every old program of quitting, shrinking, or delaying. Your words are not affirmations, they are activations. You are not trying to finish. You are finishing because it is who you are. You are not holding the line out of willpower. You are holding it because your soul remembers the assignment. This is what separates those who start from those who complete, those who act from circumstance from those who act from truth. And here's the shift. You don't wait to feel like the person, you speak as the person. You walk as the person, you sow as the person, until reality must obey. Let the outer world tremble and shift, let results come in divine timing, but you remain. You do not finish because it's easy, you finish because your identity won't allow anything else. You are the sacred finisher, the quiet storm, the anchored light, and every step you take now is not just a move forward, it is a revelation of self, a shedding of lies, a return to centered. This is not about motivation, this is about memory, the deep soul memory of who you've always been. Speak it again, as a command to every cell, as a vibration into every timeline. I am the one who finishes. I am the one who holds the line. Let this truth carry you as we step into the final revelation, where we witness how God moves when identity is aligned and obedience becomes power. Ask ChatGPT tools. The universe does not ignore consistency. It watches in silence, then moves in power. Florence Scovel Shinn revealed it clearly: when man aligns, his demonstration is swift. But alignment is not a single prayer, it is a rhythm, a steady heartbeat of faith, a sacred commitment to the invisible. Even when the world offers no applause, you take a step and there is nothing, another, still nothing. The silence almost dares you to give up, but something holy is watching. Heaven counts your consistency, not as effort but as evidence. Evidence that you trust, evidence that you are aligned, evidence that you will not bow to appearances. Imagine this now. Each morning you rise with the same devotion, the same declaration, the same inner fire, even when life looks still. And then, without warning, everything shifts. A door that was sealed swings wide open. A delay turns into divine timing. Resources pour in, people call, the phone rings. The gate of destiny cracks. Not because you tried harder, but because you stayed longer. This is the mystery of spiritual law. It does not reward struggle, it responds to consistency. It does not move with panic, it moves with trust. Visualize this. You are walking across what looks like empty air, but with each step a golden bridge appears beneath your foot. Not before, but during. Step by step obedience builds the path. Most turn back because they see no proof. But those who walk forward even while blind invoke the divine. Say this out loud. Let it rise from your spirit like fire, because I did not quit. Heaven moved. There was a woman 30 days, she held her affirmation, spoke it each morning into the mirror, even as bills piled up, even as silence stretched, even as fear whispered. But she did not stop. She did not flinch. On the 30th day, not a slow breakthrough, but a flood, checks, calls, confirmations all at once. Because the divine does not trickle, it overflows. Consistency builds spiritual momentum, and momentum pulls heaven into motion. When you show the universe who you are, the universe must respond. The law of demonstration is not chance, it is the sacred contract that when identity aligns with faith, and faith aligns with word, results must appear. Let's do this together, a mirror exercise to seal your alignment. Look at yourself not for flaws, but for fire. Declare with holy defiance, because I did not quit, heaven moved. Let that be your banner, your daily echo, your soul's agreement. You do not walk in circles, you walk in revelation. You do not repeat blindly, you command with clarity. Every morning affirmation, every moment of refusal to shrink. Every prayer whispered when no one saw has been writing a decree in heaven. And now, heaven is writing back. The path is appearing beneath your feet, not randomly, but because your faith carved it. The breakthrough is not luck, it is law. Stay with it. Speak it again. Walk forward even when it's dark. The golden road is forming. The bridge is building. The doors are opening. And as we cross into the final truth, prepare your spirit. Because, when faith becomes identity and identity fuels action, the demonstration cannot be delayed. It must come swiftly, surely, suddenly. Now is the moment you stop listening and start becoming. Not someday, not next week. Now, everything you've heard in this journey is sacred truth, but truth only transforms when it's lived. So I invite you into a rhythm that realigns your life with the divine current, a 14-day spiritual immersion, a sacred container where your consistency becomes your covenant and your words become your way. For 14 days, you will not negotiate with fear. You will not check if it's working. You will walk with heaven step by step, word by word, thought by thought. This is not a test, it is a temple. Let me show you how to enter it. Morning, declare alignment the moment you rise. Before the noise of the world touches you, stand before the mirror, look into your eyes, not with doubt, but with dominion, and declare, I am aligned with divine order. I walk in power. I do not quit. I finish what I start. Do not wait for feelings. Speak until your spirit feels it. This is the power of the tongue. Florence Scovel Shinn taught, your words are spiritual architecture, build wisely. Then breathe. Place your hand on your heart and say with stillness, today, I walk with heaven. Midday, return to truth. At some point between noon and evening, the world will test you. Doubt may creep in, fatigue may try to steal your clarity. This is your sacred checkpoint. Pause. Place one hand over your chest and whisper, I return to truth. In your journal, write what the illusion tried to tell you, and then write the truth that replaces it. Example, the illusion says, I'm behind. The truth is, I'm right on time, in divine order. This is the law of substitution in motion. You cannot remove fear by force, you replace it with truth. And truth never fails. Night, seal in faith before sleep. Do not go to bed with confusion in your mind or anxiety echoing in your chest. Speak this over your pillow. I am divinely guided in the seen and unseen. Even as I sleep, heaven works. Close your eyes and visualize a glowing calendar, each page illuminated with golden light. You are walking through it faithfully, with clarity and power. Write in your journal, what did I learn about myself today? Where did I stay aligned? Where can I choose better tomorrow? Then seal it with this affirmation. For 14 days, I walk with heaven. I do not quit. Track your journey. Use a physical calendar or notebook. Mark each day with intention. Watch how the days begin to speak back to you. Watch how small shifts become undeniable movements. Every act of consistency invites demonstration. Heaven is not withholding, it is waiting for your daily agreement. And here's your reminder, you are not alone in this challenge. Thousands are walking with you, holding the line, keeping the rhythm, trusting the process. If you feel resistance, good. It means transformation is near. Do not break the rhythm when it gets hard. That's when the breakthrough is closest. Let your discipline become devotion. Let your words become weapons of light. Let your identity rise, because these 14 days are not about doing more. They are about becoming more aligned, more anchored, more divine. Let your actions announce to the universe, I am ready. You've heard the teachings. You've felt the shift. Now it's time to demonstrate. The calendar is waiting. The light is rising. The gates are opening. You are not hoping anymore. You are commanding. You are not chasing signs. You are becoming one. 14 days, walk with heaven, and you will not walk in vain. Now, let's enter the final truth. The identity you've been building is ready to rise. Close your eyes, breathe deeper than you have all day, and listen, not with your ears, but with the softest part of your spirit. Because what you're about to hear is not just a message, it's a remembrance. You are not lost. You are being led. You are not stuck. You are sacredly stationed. You are not forgotten. You are being formed. Heaven has not overlooked you. It has overshadowed you, preparing a path where there seemed to be none, laying gold beneath your feet, one invisible step at a time. This is your divine unfolding. Not delayed, not denied, but aligned with a rhythm your mind cannot always comprehend, yet your soul has always known. And now you are no longer asking if it will happen, you are choosing to align until it does. Florence said, when man aligns, his demonstration is swift. And alignment begins in the unseen, in your self-talk, in your faith when nothing changes, in your declarations when doubt roars loud, in your refusal to quit even when the evidence is silent. That's where heaven moves, not in the loud, but in the loyal, not in the rush, but in the rooted, not in desperation, but in divine consistency. There is a wind at your back now. Can you feel it? It is the wind of every prayer you've whispered, every time you chose truth over fear, every affirmation you spoke in the dark, every morning you got back up when you could have stayed down. That wind is not a feeling, it is God's movement, pushing you forward even when it feels like you're standing still. You are not walking alone, you are walking with angels, with the divine orchestra aligning every note with your soul's compass, pointing home with heaven, recording every word you dare to believe. So do not quit. Do not trade your harvest for a moment of impatience. Do not bow to the illusion. Do not give up when you are moments from crossing the invisible line. Your breakthrough is not waiting for you to be perfect. It is waiting for you to be consistent. Keep speaking life. Keep showing up. Keep surrendering and commanding. Keep walking like the door is already open, because spiritually it is. And if it feels quiet, that's not absence, it's incubation. You are being shaped, strengthened, sharpened, set apart. Say this with me now out loud. Let your own voice become your prophecy. I am not stuck. I am sacredly stationed. I am not forgotten. I am being formed. I do not quit. I align. I command. I trust. And I watch God move. Now close your eyes. See yourself standing on the edge of a new chapter. Light surrounds you, not just ahead but within. Your entire path begins to glow, not in fire but in peace. Soft, golden, radiant peace. Each step you take lights the next. You do not need to know the whole way, only the next faithful move. Now see the wind behind your back, pushing you forward, not forcing but lifting. You were never alone, not for a moment, and now you rise, not because everything changed, but because you did. You no longer wait for the miracle, you are the open vessel that commands it. You are no longer begging, you are building. You are no longer questioning, you are aligning. You are the evidence of divine timing, the living proof that spiritual law always returns full. You are not in delay, you are in demonstration. Let this be your final prayer, not whispered in weakness, but declared in power. I do not quit, because God is already moving. And now walk. The light is green. The gate is open. The wind is with you.